evening. It's February 14th, 1966, and today we're going to be talking about the recent currency change which will affect our whole nation. Australia's currency dates back from the Spanish dollar to the English in 1826, and just today we have converted back to the decimal system using a 1, 2, 5, 10 denomination system. There was some controversy naming the currency, and suggestions such as the Australian Royal and Merino were debated, but the final name will remain the Australian dollar. These colorful new notes have intricate depictions of the significant figures in Australian history, such as Queen Elizabeth II on the $5 note, and Australian writer and inventor David Unaipon on the $50 note. This transition will be somewhat awkward, at first, like any new currency, but will hopefully someday be a change for the better and begin a new chapter in Australia's independence. Today is March 26, 1966, and our news station has just received word that the ban on employment of married women has now been lifted. The ban limited married women to only part-time jobs and were never given promotions or seniority to keep their job, regardless of how long they worked there. We're going to Nick live to talk to Australian Women Against Violence Alliance, or AWAVA, Secretariat to find out what her view is on the issue.
Thanks, Raquel. Here we are at a live AWAVA conference where you are about to hear a direct quote from a well-renowned secretariat of the organization.
Thanks for having me. Temporary employee restricted the ability of married women to accumulate superannuation and meant they were the first to be targeted for redundancies when significant downsizing of the Australian public service occurred.
It's a really unfortunate case, and you really provided some very good points for terminating this ban. So what you're saying is that women who used to have unequal opportunities in the workplace can now actually work to support their families without worrying about constantly being in danger for their jobs.
Yes, exactly. Yesterday, on January 26, 1949, the Nationality and Citizenship Act was passed. This act makes anyone who has permanent residence eligible to be an Australian citizen. In addition to being recognized as Australian citizens, we will be recognized as British subjects. But still, all those who are not citizens will remain aliens. There are requirements for Australian citizenship. These requirements include that one must currently be a British subject, as well as be born in Australia or have permanent residence permits. This means from now on, anyone born in Australia automatically has Australian citizenship. Did I just say that? Okay. This is the first step to independence, and now let's hear what some soon-to-be citizens have to say about this. 64.
Here we are live at the Citizenship Registry, where this young man is about to become an Australian citizen. How does it feel to become an Australian citizen?
Well, it feels great to become a citizen of the country I love so much.
Why do you think the Citizenship Act is important?
It's important because it displays Australian independence from the UK.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking.
Today, there are hundreds of women and men outside of trades halls in Melbourne, protesting for the right for equal pay. The Commonwealth Conciliation and Arbitration Committee is currently in trades halls, debating the second of two major equal pay cases. The first one, in 1969, decided that women and men must get equal pay for equal work. But the majority of women do not benefit from this because equal pay is only if a man and woman have the exact same job. The hope of this current case is to create a ruling to stop employers from simply renaming women's job titles to avoid the equal pay ruling. Now, let's interview some of the protesters.
Currently outside of Trades Hall, alongside hundreds of men and women who are passionately protesting for equality. Even with this freezing weather, some of these protesters have been out here for hours fighting for what they believe in. Now let's hear what they have to say. Hi, I'm Raquel from Aussie News. Would you like to share with us your name, age, and what you're protesting about?
Hi, I'm Aggie Baggett, and I'm 30 years old. My hope for this case is for the Commonwealth Conciliation and Arbitration Committee to make a ruling to widen the 1959 principle of equal pay for work with equal value. I believe that women have the right to have a similar rate of pay as men, no matter what work they're doing, as long as the jobs are similar in value.
All right, thank you so much for your opinion, Abby, and good luck with your protest, and stay warm. Now we're going to bring it back to you, Judith.
Whoa, this is unbelievable. Seconds after Raquel interviewed the protesters, it was officially announced that today, on December 15th, 1972, the Commonwealth Conciliation and Arbitration Committee has the same rate of pay as men, no matter what work they were doing, as long as it was assessed at a comparable in value. The hope is to change the difference of wages between men and women from 26% difference to an estimated value of only 16% difference in wages. This will change the lives of working women all over Australia.
Today's story, we have the 1956 Olympics held in our very own Melbourne. For more on today's events, we go to our on-site reporter, Juliet.
Here we are at the long jump pit, and it looks like Nicholas Wen just set a record for Australia. Go!
Opinion about the conflicts between the Soviet Union and Hungary.
I believe it's a real problem, but I hope they can figure it out so we can have a combined international athletic
Feel
game.
about the Olympics being in Australia.
I'm excited that it's finally in my home country for once, and I don't have to fly to a distant location to play.
This report has been brought to you live from the Olympic Stadium. My name's Judith, and have a great day.
Authorities have confirmed the rumors that there are nuclear tests going on and within the islands of Australia. These nuclear tests are being done in unprotected areas that are near a large population of both Aboriginals and European Australian people. Other waste materials have begun to accumulate in residential and commercial areas of the Aboriginal and Australian peoples, causing both of these groups to begin to protest these acts. Many residents are angry with the fact that the UK government and not the Australian government is conducting these tests. We at Aussie News will keep you updated about this issue and the areas that are affected by the radiation as this thing. Here we are at the site of the Coode Island Chemical Facility. The explosion happened this afternoon at 2:17 p.m. when a 6,000-liter chemical container filled with acrylonite exploded, releasing possibly harmful chemicals into the air over Melbourne. So far, the city of Melbourne dedicates most of its resources to containing the damage. Over 150 firefighters have been employed to quarantine the area most affected, downtown Melbourne. However, they predict that the gas will travel farther inland, so further evacuation may be needed. We are back at Melbourne, right next to the Coode Island toxic spill that occurred a few days ago. Evacuations across the city has generally been futile as the toxic cloud has drifted over 30 miles inland to Frankston. The potential health concerns of the gas is still unknown, though the city has advised its citizens to stay inside as much as possible. Numerous people have reported nausea, headaches, excessive bowel movements, and animalistic urges. Although there have been no human casualties yet, 3 longtime residents of the Melbourne Zoo, Alex the koala and his brothers, have recently fell ill and passed away. Behind me, we can see their funeral procession as they were much loved by the city. Hopefully, this event can lead Australia to establish safer chemical laws.
Friday here at Aussie News, and Australia has recently announced its involvement in the conflict in Malaysia. This conflict first began when 3 managers were murdered. It is still unclear to what extent Australia will participate in this conflict, but it is most likely that they will send at least 2,000 aircraft and various supplies. This update is surprising because Australia usually stays out of international conflicts. This will establish Australia as a national force that can patrol the global community. This conflict in Malaysia has finally concluded after 13 long years. 39 soldiers were injured and 21 were wounded, minor casualties considering the length of this conflict.